You know, if we're going to be hanging out talking about options, it occurred to me that we probably should be on the same page. So, this is the most simplistic version and definition of what an option truly is. Greetings and salutations. Hey, let's just take a quick minute. I wanted to pop in and talk to you. Make sure we're on the same page about actually what an option is. An option, by my definition, is simply the game within the game. Think of it like a sandwich. The stock is the bread, and you get the sandwich. It's like, hey, it's a good looking sandwich right there. It's beautiful. Then you open up the bread, and you're like, oh my goodness, look at all this stuff. And there's a banana peppers, there's some pesto and Bermuda onion. Hey, look at all this meat and cheese is going on. It's fantastic. Well, that's what's going on with options. The stock is the bread, and it looks good and everything. But in between the stock and what it's doing is options. All that juicy in between stuff that we love to get in there and play around with. And an option is simply a contract between two people, either to buy or to sell a stock at a certain price. That's all it is. That's really all it is. And you can only buy or sell it. Makes sense, right? Because you need a buyer and a seller. And you can only do two sides. You're either doing something on the put side or you're doing something on the call side. So, at its base form, the definition of an option is simply a contract to either buy or sell a call or a put. That's all it is. And everything else is just a derivative or some kind of form or combination or layering on or double stacking or whatever. No matter if it's a jade lizard or a zebra, a condor or a butterfly, whatever you want to name, whatever the strategy is, it is all born out of buying and selling calls and puts. That's all it is, truly that. So just don't get overwhelmed by like, oh my gosh, options. I don't know what all this is. Yeah, it's going to look a little intimidating. Yeah, it's going to sound intimidating. Yeah, people are going to tell you it's risky, but it's not. It's a very calculated, mechanical, and mathematical way to kind of trade stocks that you may not have access to. Because let's be honest, we may not all have access to buy and sell Apple and Amazon and Meta and Microsoft and all these other stocks that are high dollar that we have access to, but we don't have the money for. Unless if we really want to play them. So options gives you that opportunity because the option is going to give you the power to control a certain amount of shares, if not 100 shares of stock, because every options contract you get into represents 100 shares. The price will be times 100, the stock will be times 100, so 100 is your magic number when dealing with stock options in the stock market. So when you get in there, just think, I'm either bullish, I'm bearish, or I'm neutral. There's a stock strategy for exactly what you want to do or the way you want to play it or the direction you want to go. And the option is just simply, hey, I will either buy or sell this depending on the price that I want. So I tell you what, let's do a quick example. Let's say you have a stock that's trading at $1 a share and 100 shares would be $100. So let's just think of it as $100. You think that that stock is going up or at least going to stay where it is. And you say, you know what, if that stock falls to $99, I will take on 100 shares of it. So therefore, you are selling the contract to somebody who is, that's right, buying the contract. And if that stock goes and goes and goes, it's like the Kentucky Derby, they're coming down the backstretch, and then time period you ranged, and it's $100, 101, 103, it's down to 98, and boom, it closes at 101, you do nothing. The option expires worthless. You keep the premium that you collected and you go about your life. And you do the exact same thing the next week. You put on the put contract. You say, I'll buy this stock if it gets down to 99, and then the race is on once again. And if it gets down below 99, hey, you're obligated to buy it. You're going to be taking on 100 shares of whatever stock that you've agreed upon to do this contract with. You're taking the 100 shares. That's going to happen. And the buyer, he would do that because, hey, that stock might drop to $95. So you're going to take it on at $99. He's going to sell it off at 99 when it stock's at 95. So he's going to be a winner. Well, what are you? Are you a loser? Absolutely not. You've got 100 shares of stock and you're going to turn right around the next week and run the exact opposite contract on it. You're going to say, hey, I will sell you these shares, 100 shares, for the price of $100 should the stock get to that. And somewhere out there, there's going to be a buyer that goes, absolutely, that sounds like a great deal. I'm in on that contract. And once again, the horse race is on. Here they come down the backstretch and the stock closes at $103. Well, guess what? You have to sell those off at $101 because that's what you agreed upon. And boom, the shares are gone. You're like, well, I missed out on that. Not necessarily. You made some coin on those going up, and you also made the premium. Call it a day. And then you can just get right back into it, sell puts at whatever strike price. We recommend around that 20 delta, but that's a story for another time. But the basic story here is options are simply a contract between two people, either to buy or to sell a stock at the agreed upon strike price. Everything else just builds upon that. It makes it nice and easy. Don't overwhelm yourself. You're either a buyer or a seller of the stock. I absolutely do not recommend buying options naked. It is absolutely usually a death sentence for your portfolio. But understand, if you really want to buy into a options contract of some, put some kind of a little bit of structure to it, and then sell some other leg to it so that you're not out so much money, or maybe even taking in a small credit. That's how you learn. Whenever you start out as a new trader, you do your defined risk trades, and then you start seeing the structures and how they play out of simply the four things. And then you can start moving into protecting yourself, hedging yourself, covering yourself if it goes wrong, whatever the case may be. But always remember, at its definition, it's just the guts of the sandwich, man. It's just what's going on in between. And it's where all the premium lives that we love to feast on. And you get that premium, you hold it, you enjoy the ride, and you do the same thing next week. So, hey, thanks for stopping in for this simplistic definition of what an option truly is. But I want you to keep one more thing in mind before we go. Hey, listen, I drug you outside just to remind you of one thing. Don't get too caught up in what you're doing. Don't get overwhelmed in it. Don't get caught up with it. And don't spend all your time down in your bunker, in your den, in your office, whatever the case may be. Remember, the whole point of it's retiring early, trying to retire early, is to enjoy the finer things in life and do the things we want to do. So don't get caught up. The time is now yours. You are making your own time become valuable in the fact that you're able to do all the things that you wanted to do. So don't waste your time down there with your nose in the computer. It's easy to do, it's easy to get caught up in your hobbies and everything. But make sure you're taking your time out to enjoy the things you want to do, have the things that you want to have, whether it be just a fine beverage and a cigar, or if it's going out to a restaurant, or if it's going on vacation. Don't ever not do the things you want to do, because time is precious, and the whole purpose of us doing what we do is so that we can buy time to do the things we want to do. So enjoy your life and take a time, even if it's only 5, 10 minutes during the day, and you can always go back to the trading. The market will always be there. Your wood shop will always be there, whatever the case may be. Nothing's going to change. But what's going to change is the amount of time that you have to enjoy everything. So don't waste it. Don't get caught up in what we're doing, and never take yourself too seriously. Have a great day, and hey, we'll see you next time.